innovation class. My name is Leslie Friesen, and I don't teach this class. I just got involved in this class.
The godmother. You're the godmother.
No, along with that, so I wanted to kind of give a little backstory about how this class came to be, and it started with Kit Chan. Actually, it didn't start with him, but he sends me an email or a phone call last June saying, Dean Usher, who's the arts and sciences back here, and Dean Usher, who may be joining us, who is the dean of the Speed School, have asked that we do an industrial design class this spring. Well, we don't have an industrial design program, much less a class. So, Dean Kit, Steve Skaggs, some other faculty members in our department got together and talked about it. We met with people in the Speed School, and I got to know that and talked about that, which was a great thing. So, as we talked about this class, we knew it couldn't really be a traditional model because we don't have a program where you're sort of building skills and knowledge through a whole series of courses. So the approach we wanted to take is much more of a workshop environment, co-creation. The goal was to put engineers and designers together. So cross-discipline, collaboration, experiential learning. This is not a lecture class where people sit for an hour taking notes. They are in a workshop environment working together. And the focus was really going to be on design process. It wasn't going to be on finished, polished products. It was going to be on kind of learning about the design process in the industrial design world, which, like many worlds in design, is a collaborative universe. Graphic designers, industrial designers, interaction designers, interior designers, all those people do not work solo. They have to work collaboratively. So in most college situations, we're working in our little silos. So this was a time to see if we could cross some of those silos. So that's kind of how the class came to be, and Thad and I were kind of jumped in and said, all right, we'll find some industrial designers to teach this class because, again, with no program here, we don't have faculty with that knowledge base already. I call up Lou Lindsay, who I knew from GE, and he made a recommendation of Jarvis Ward. Thad has been working with Ty Adams, who I already also knew, and we call up Ty, and Ty also suggests Walter. So instead of picking one person, we decided we would do a team approach to this class. So lots of experimentation in even the structure of the class. And so we had 3 adjuncts, and they'll each talk a little bit about what their 5-week segment did. And it's been a really interesting experience and experiment, and I think it's great for the students who've been through this to remember back to January, and as we kind of go through what happened in the semester, it's like, oh yeah, wow. They've done an amazing amount in a short time. It's not going to be the polished work that came out of Thad's class.
Thanks to the
Oh, this is not the only cross-disciplinary course that happened this semester. Thad has an engineering entrepreneurship class, and mostly engineers, 12 engineers. And we embedded 4 designers who took a directed studies in design and embedded themselves. This is the flip-flop. We've got 12 art design people and 4 engineers. So that, I think, is mostly what I want to say, is just kind of give you the setup, and then we have some other people that are going to talk, including Erin Yenny, who's one of the students, is going to talk about the University Innovation Fellows program that she participated in. Okay. Oh, and again, hopefully we'll have time just to have conversation with you all who would like to talk more about what happened here this semester. Thanks.
My head's okay. Hi guys. I'm Erin Yenny. I am a graduate student here, getting my master's in industrial engineering. I'll be graduating in 2 weeks. So I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about a trip that a group of us, Bo's back there, so I'm Bo, myself, and 2 other actually engineering students became part of a fellowship in the fall called University Innovation Fellows. And this is a fellowship that wants to promote innovation and entrepreneurship on college campuses. So having been in this class, I kind of told Ty about it, and he wanted me to present kind of some things on it when I came back to the class. So I made a little PowerPoint just to kind of go through what we learned. So University Innovation Fellows is run by the National Center for Engineering Pathways to Innovation Epicenter, and that's funded by the NSF. It's a partnership between Stanford University and VentureWell. It's just to give you background on where it comes from. So fellows, let's see, at our meetup, we went to Silicon Valley in March, just a month and a half ago or so. We went for 4 days, and there were over 300 other fellows from all over the country that come from universities all over the country. And these fellows are building design and maker spaces on their campuses. They're organizing hackathons, they're creating multidisciplinary courses like this, developing workshops and clubs, all to kind of promote that culture of innovation on the campus. So 3 main days we were there. The first day we were at Google. The second day we were mostly at Stanford's D School, their design school, and the third day we were at Microsoft. So when we were at Google, the first part of the day was really kind of about being engaged and playing some games. We were spoken to by Dr. Frederick Kerr. He's the head of the Innovation and Creativity program there, so he's in charge of incorporating all of the new nooblers that come in on innovation, and he ran all these activities for us. We went through design thinking process, we played fun games. One of the big things that they emphasized at Google was this mindset of not saying yes but, when someone on your team might be saying an idea, but instead saying yes and, because saying yes but kind of just cuts the momentum of ideation. So we talked a lot about that, and just being positive, rolling with it, going with ideas in the brainstorming process. We talked about the power of perspective and how that plays a huge role in being able to think outside the box and really putting yourself in someone else's shoes. We had their Google X Lab kind of project manager come in and talk about some of the projects that they're doing there, from floating Wi-Fi balloons to self-driving cars. So it was really interesting to hear from him how they're really thinking 10 times what most people think on a lot of areas. We talked about prototyping and creotyping, and really just this idea of just putting your idea out there. Just do it fast, and that way you can quickly iterate your idea. Talk about how to collect feedback from people and how that's important. We talked about mindfulness and have a mindfulness coach at Google, and just as a company that they're always open and that they know they have to change to thrive. We had Steve Blank come and talk to us. And entrepreneurship is experimental. It's art. That's what it is, and that's one of the things I love about this class, is being around all these artists. It's been fun. We did an inspiration walk where we walked around the University of Stanford or Stanford University, and we had people in our earphones that were taking us through a mindfulness walk and basically saying, like, look at nature and just observe and how that can create ideas in our head on a problem that we're trying to solve. And then again, some more kind of interactive games to promote collaboration. Peter Sims came and talked to us kind of about being change agents on our campus. Obviously, this isn't a culture that is everywhere yet, and this idea is growing. I can clearly see that after going here, but it's really it really empowered us as students to come back to our campuses and really work to make this a reality. These are just some pictures of Stanford's D School. So it's no department owns this D School, this building. It's open to any major, any student, any faculty, and it is full of just space to create. So there's whiteboards everywhere, walls, like sliding walls. Students can come in and just put Post-it notes up and just come up with any ideas and then collaborate with each other on them. Just some more pictures of that. They've got like a van in there that's like the getaway van, so you clear your mind, you can just go in the van and be in a new space and maybe change your perspective. They put pictures up of everyone that works in that space, so that there's pictures, I mean, over like tons of walls, just to kind of, and each picture has like their major on it, so they come from, I mean, you can see they're from every which major. Here's some more pictures of the D school. They have their tool station that's really simple. It's not crazy tools like you might see at Clearsville, which is great, but for students, you know, sometimes it's better just to prototype with Post-it notes and cardboard and foam blocks than anything else, just to get your idea to form. And this space here is like, they can create it to where they want. So all the furniture is movable and slidable to make whatever kind of environment they want. And then these are just some design thinking processes that the D School has kind of come up with. We like this one here because it's simple, but really the emphasis is on the empathizing with the end user. So it's really understanding how they feel, what are their true problems and issues. And then at Microsoft, we had a lot of speakers come in for at Microsoft, and they're really engaging, really fun. It was a lot of fun there. We had an unconference where we had easel boards where people would say, you know, what's an issue that they want to address on their campus or just in general, and then we wrote them on the top of an easel. So there's probably 45 easels around the room, and you could just walk up to anyone you wanted and join the conversation, put your idea, a Post-it note of how to solve it. If you didn't want to stay there, then we would go to a new conversation. So that was really fun. And then on the last day, Sebastian Thrun came and we got to listen to him talk, and that was really cool. He talked a lot about, again, launching your ideas fast and not being afraid to share your idea, even if you think it's this amazing idea, but by being able to share it, you're able to get feedback, and you're ultimately able to move forward way quicker than if you try to keep everything back like internal and a secret. Just talking about having no fear, just be who you want to be. It takes guts to say something interesting. Someone asked him, like, how do you keep yourself young and thriving in this changing environment? He said, leather pants. He's from Germany. His accent is very thick. And yeah, this is just a picture of the whole group there. A couple more pictures. So the 4 fellows came back and we started a club. Really what we're trying to do is just to create this environment on this campus. And there's a lot of things happening to try and help that, but we, I believe at least it's classes like this that start to make that possible. That's one of the ways that we can start pulling in artists and engineers and people from other disciplines together to create things. So we started a club. We're just small, we're starting up, and we're trying to get more students involved. So if you know of any specific students or anything, just let us know. And yeah, does anyone have any questions about the trip or the fellowship?
Our students aren't just engineers,
right? Yeah, the people that were at the fellowship or at the meetup were from engineers to economics students to education students. It was kind of all over. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
When we started this class, we knew there was going to be a very diverse group of people. We didn't realize how diverse it would be at the time. We ended up with freshmen all the way to some retired individuals from fine arts, interior design, graphic design, several kinds of engineering. So we decided we would start specific and go broader with each of our 3 sections. What I'm presenting is a smattering, a taste, a sample of industrial design processes, all that are used at GE, all that I learned at GE. So this is real world applications that we were introducing to the students. The idea of co-creation is about knowing your end user. So day 1, I gave them a crash course in the entire process. We started with an empathy session of peeling potatoes as an aging person. So we taped their knuckles, put popcorn in their shoes, popcorn kernels in their shoes, gave them goggles with different simulated visual impairments. And had them peel potatoes.
What's called?
We gave them a formal brainstorming exercise called 7 Ways, for one of many. They then had to make low-resolution prototypes, just paper and tape and whatever was handy. And then they had to present them at the end of that 3-hour class. So it was a terrific day. It was a lot of fun. I think that it really set a high standard. They really knocked it out of the park on that first day. And then for the rest of my section, we just scaled that up. We went into more detail about some of those exercises like mind mapping, empathy mapping. We gave each of them a external volunteer, not to go find. We had 2 volunteers from Trading Oaks Retirement Home that 2 teams visited. One team visited their grandparents' basement apartment, and another team went to a local laundromat where they caught people as they could. And so conducting interviews, doing task analysis, identifying problems, and then creating prototypes and then testing those prototypes. And one surviving prototype, I'll bring over here. This is the resolution that my 4 weeks of work ended up with. So it's pretty crude, but you can see that it has been modified. So it was taken to the volunteer in its first iteration. They got feedback, and they made changes, and it was presented such as this is a laundry aiding device. So it was a lot of fun. I found it a privilege. Each of the teams did a great job, and I'm looking forward to doing it again next fall.
Well, my name is Walter Hargrove. I am an industrial designer at Brown Jordan. I graduated from a good state school, and I went and worked for about 14 years, a little bit in Germany, a little bit in the U.S., manufacturing in the U.S., manufacturing in China. I did some engineering consulting firm working with, I was the one industrial designer with this engineering group. Kept them very entertained and busy. I later went back to graduate school at Georgia Tech, another good state institution, and did graduate school in industrial design there, and I was going to go down a teaching path, explore it at least. Taught at SIUC, taught at a little bit at Georgia Tech, and Art Institute of Portland, Oregon. Then I was called by Brown Jordan International to come down here and help them work on innovation. And one of the innovations was, they wanted a fire pit. That's okay, it's a step, not a stretch or a leap. Did that. They had tried 8 years, and we finally got it. And then we worked with the Kentucky School of the Blind to work with assistive technology for posture, to help with attention, to help. These were kids with multiple conditions. This was a lot of co-creation to help. We had to work with the students, we had to work with the teachers, we had to work with the occupational therapists. To me, the university is about economic development. That's what the state schools are for. If you put a land-grant school out in Auburn or somewhere in Kentucky, they're going to help the farmers, right? That's co-creation. You develop someone based on, you develop some people based on a need, right? It could be farmers, it could be manufacturers, old manufacturing, GEs, old, or you can have new manufacturing, right? Like some of our students here may have a new idea to manufacture here. So this is to help manufacturing. It's to help economic development of individuals as they start their own businesses, right? And maybe someone explained to me that nice when GE comes here, right? It's a win. But what if GE goes away, right? What if we taught someone else to come here? Well, someone else is lost. With economic development and this co-creation and this thought, this intermingling of ideas, maybe we start a new big business here. So that's economic development. Now, co-creation is also with economic development. If you have engineers, they are taught to solve the problem, and artists may be taught to make it beautiful. Right? Great, now let's put these two together, and maybe a couple of other players, so that they learn how to make something beautiful work, and find out who's it for and what they need. Whether it's the manufacturer needs, or the marketing needs, right, or the user's needs. So this is also co-creation. The facilitating stakeholders, the engineers and the artists and all these, they're facilitating the creation of it. And then the users, right? This is where co-creation works. This is where economic development happens. So my students, after Jarvis's crash course, and it was amazing. I joined the first part, the first day, and it was amazing. I loved it. We took the same students, mixed up the teams a little bit, and they did 4 design competitions. This gave us the structure of what they were trying to do. And so we had a sustainable, clean, these are design competitions. Some of them were students, some of them were not. Right? They'd go through competitions. Sustainably clean. How can you have a hygiene product or something for showering or what? But it's sustainable. Water issues, right? Spark had children's design, toy design, educational opportunities. There was actually an international appliance competition out of China. You give them their ideas and they take it, they're happy. But the students developed something that used this appliance, this appliance manufacturer designed this brand new washing machine that sat out on the back porch, the deck of all the apartments. And they needed a dryer. And so the Chinese always like to have the sun drying their clothing. So they designed something that make it more beautiful than just hanging clothes. They would dry quicker and keep the environmental air was currently available in China from landing on the clothes. Anyway, so it's a great, if you go to China, you see these buildings just filled with clothes. And we try to make that a little beautiful. And then we did a packaging. Now packaging, usually you have a shoebox, you take it, you might put CDs anymore, but when you run out of CDs because you don't use those anymore, you put something else in there. It's a storage system, that's the second life of packaging. The packaging, this group did packaging, okay, how can we bring it to a higher level, right? Upcycle instead of downcycle. And so they did some of those things. So these are all competitions. They went through a research phase, different levels. This is traditional industrial design research, but we talked to people. There was a children's toy, and it's kind of difficult, the IRB for children, they did a lot of literature review. And then someone realized, oh, my roommate has a sister who's really young. We could go talk to her, right? So they got to talk to a few children. But a lot of it was talking to parents and then the literature review and talking to some other people. So they did all types of card sorting, qualitative and quantitative research. Then they went through development and the brainstorming. They can tell you about it later, maybe. They were all collaborating. And an artist can draw, but we found that engineers can draw also, right? And then they start drawing on top of their drawings. And this is where yes and happens. And they started making rough models. Some of them made out of Play-Doh, some of them paper, some of them cups. And they had some solutions. This is a toy that helps you understand what's, the anatomy of a bear or what have you, and become more advanced. Volumes, how can you teach volumes to children? It used to be you have a tall glass, a certain amount, a wider glass. You have to teach the volumes. Again, with the water, how can you brush your teeth and save? Instead of using this much water, how can you save and use that much water? It's also good for when you're traveling overseas, you want to take a toothbrush with your own water off the airplane, or if you're camping. And so this is another project where they're upcycling packaging so it can be a story that can unfold and tell different stories. something you buy your boots and you can take the materials and use it to hold your boots up so they don't fall over in the closet, and they take the fragrance away. This helps with the fragrance. And then we have a lighting project. Now, we brought the lighting project here, and if you'll would be, we can do a quick show and tell. This is a great visual, and the lights are already on.
Yeah, so when we were trying to figure out what shoe package we were wanting to do, we just started out by listing out like kids' shoes, anything that came to mind for kids' shoes, anything that came to mind for athletic shoes, camping, hiking, stuff like that. And this actually came from the kids section. I think one of them said like glow in the dark, and I thought that was pretty
Yeah, it
interesting.
comes from like the idea of turning a shoebox after it's done into like a lamp or some type of object you can sit on your desk or something like that. So it kind of morphed into this from there.
Yeah, obviously glow in the dark there wasn't really much an option with the glow in the dark, so turn it into an actual light. And then so you could you take your shoes out, that'd be housed in there, and then the lights would be inside, just a small compartment, and then a couple different lighting options if you want. Yes, if you want like some low light, good light, you can have the lights facing down. It slides in like that, and then you can adjust how much light you want sliding it down. And this also provides the light. So if you want more light, you can have the lights facing up towards the ceiling, more light. And then to show off for all the sneakerheads and shoe worshippers, you can put your shoe up there and show it off and have the light. So you can show off your shoes.
So this idea was awesome. I was looking at it from like an engineering perspective, and like, could this be really feasible? And I mean, it's definitely very feasible, especially with the lights. You can just use simple LED, the low cost, low energy. You can, put a LED strip here, and then maybe once they get the shoebox, we'll just attach a battery, like a 9-volt battery, and be able to have their display and show off their shoes and stuff like that. So.
Did you show this to Adidas yet?
I sent it in, I haven't heard anything back yet.
They were running with the idea.
Yeah, they said, if you send anything in, they can take it. They don't have to give any credit to anyone.
What did you do?
So I got the opportunity to work on the third tranche, and had some great support from everyone. I really commend you all for coming out and being on these inaugural class. That means you're early adopters. It means you're risk takers. It's really nice, and I've been incredibly impressed with the quality of students we've had the opportunity to work with. Over the course of the 5 weeks, we had some great speakers came in. Michael Castro with MindSalt is the marketing side of it. Josh Beatty with Modular, startup that does iPad accessories. Wes Signor, is that the correct way to say it? Sidnor, okay. Came in from MSD and talked about wastewater and wastewater capture and stormwater capture. Jordan is here, and appreciate you coming in tonight. We also toured Winston Industries, which is an amazing boutique manufacturer here in town. I had the good pleasure of working with them on several projects, and really been impressed with their ability to reach out and work with the entrepreneurs in town. They work, they're about a $30 million corporation, and they basically do a lot of sheet metal, they do a lot of other stuff, including wiring and plastic and electronic components. So they're amazing, and they have a beautiful $4 million machine that spits out product at the end. Nobody touches it in between. It's really quite interesting to see, and it's one of the only 7 of those in the entire country. We also went over to Jones Plastics and saw very large parts come off of very large plastic injection molding machines. I think most of us have no idea where the products we use every day come from, and until you see it actually come out of a mold, it sort of brings some magic and some reality. So those are nice field trips. I think in the fall I'd like to do more of those. But without further ado, what I'd like to do is get into the actual course presentations. And they were tasked with and given a great deal of freedom and run through very quickly. We basically treated this as an actual project, a professional project. Basically phase one lasted a week. It was project orientation, research. Basically analyzed the project discoveries, market research objectives, specs, into it very quickly. At the end of that, they made a quick presentation. They treated us as clients, basically said, yes, go, reshape that, maybe go down this way a little bit, but basically they had tremendous amounts of freedom. From there, they went into conceptual exploration and did preliminary concepts and addressed the human interface. We just got into all the things you do in industrial design and explore. Now, this is very high level. We were not getting caught up in minutia. We wanted to just explore this from the design and feasibility standpoint. Out of those came investing milestones and tollgate and deliverables. We went into concept development, from there into design refinement, and from there into what you'll see today, which is basically proof of concept, product validation, and presentation. So without further ado, I'd like group one to come up and make their pitch.
Projects that went on during the semester had the same kind of finished project where the team presented like this. So while Walter and Jarvis kind of briefly went over what they did in their 5 weeks, now we're seeing sort of what we saw at the end of each of those 5 weeks.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joyce Chen, and I am a studio arts major.
Hello, I'm Diego. I'm also a senior and also a student art major. My name is Luke. I'm a graphic design major.
And I'm Landon, and I'm pursuing a PhD in bioengineering.
So, a couple weeks ago, we were presented with the problem to solve basically how to find an innovative system to be able to reuse rainwater from the roof and be able to use it in-house. So with that in mind, we came up with a solution to be able to find a way to capture rainwater from the roof and purify it, and then be able to use it as a supplement to the mainline water supply. So specifically what we were trying to do is to create a system that was self-contained and self-sufficient, on top of very easy to install for the common average Joe, and lastly, very simple and very so it doesn't break down too much. So one of the things that we learned in this class was who was our target market, who was our consumer. So because that's a really big part in how to really approach the problem that we were given. So we looked at 2 different types of demographics. The first demographic was looking at a smaller scale, so just looking at the U.S. itself. So if we were going to sell our product to specific demographic, it would be to the people who live on the east end of the U.S. because they get the most amount of rainwater each year. So with that in mind, you'll be able to really repay back the system that you buy. But if we were looking at the whole world, one of the people that we would be really trying to sell it to are the people who live on the equator, because they get the most amount of rainwater, and on top of that, they get the most amount of sun. So being able to have those 2 big components components is a huge part of our solution that we came up with. And lastly, we would also look at who would buy it, who specifically would be an early adopter. So first, we would have the people who are Generation X, the people who already have homes, who have families, so people who already have homes, they want to buy something that would they can install for their home. But over the past couple years, the baby boomers have become a huge target market just for any type of product. So with that in mind, they have more of a bigger disposable income, so they would also be someone that we would look into trying to sell our product to. But obviously, the bottom line is anyone who has a home, who the homeowner would really want to look into buying this product. So with that being said, we're going to give you a short little information about rainfall.
Sure, yeah, we just decided to do Louisville because we get a lot of rain here. It's about 45 inches of rain annually. That's about 3.7 inches per month. And so we said best case scenario, if you had a 1,500 square foot house with a 1,500 square foot roof and you were able to get all of that water, that's about 3,500 gallons per month that you could capture. Like with a lot of assumptions, but still. That's, high level stuff. That's a lot of water. So. This is according to some studies done by the EPA. An average family of 4 uses about 400 gallons of water per day. It's 12,000 gallons a month. There's a lot more than I would have thought. But I kind of looked at my Louisville water bill and we did some calculations. That would cost about $200 a month in Louisville. So if we were to supplement that with our max of 3,500 gallons a month, that could save up to $58, which is pretty substantial. So yeah, like I said, some assumptions. Obviously, pumps have more than one downspout because we're talking about capturing it from one downspout, like we'll see here in a second. But each downspout may need one of these units. It's something that we would like to just have one of them, but we don't really want to have to mess with the existing plumbing because it's something with this unit, we're trying to make it as simple as possible to install and not really have to change anything. We could, in some of these iterations, you may see we could combine downspouts to get more water, but that's just something to keep in mind before we keep going.
With that in mind, we did go through some ideation stages that Luke will explain.
So we had initially attempted attacking an off-the-grid kind of system like we've been discussing, but our first collecting rainwater standard through the gutters, and then using gravity and a microturbine system to power a cell that we could use to run a filtration system in water that we stored in the tank, and then deposited it into your home via the main line. We had problems with actually making the mini turbine system feasible for getting enough power. And we also had problems with how we were going to integrate the water into the main line, which is what led us to our more final ideation, which is to rely more heavily on solar panels as our power. We mapped it out and figured out that we're more than likely going to get enough energy. And we found a Venturi valve system that'll do a lot of the integration into the main line for us.
And at this time, we're going to show our mock-up.
But anyway, yeah, this is kind of it. So collecting water from the gutter system here, we have some sort of a tank that could be placed on the outside of the house that could either blend in with the environment, or as you'll see some ideas that could not blend in with the environment, depending on if you wanted to or not. Basically, with the solar panel on top, it would store 150 to 200 gallons of water because we are going to use it as it's being collected. And down here we have a UV filter system powered by the solar panel that makes the water potable, and then a Venturi valve which will help introduce the main line, eliminating the need for a
models that you can purchase. So David.
Yeah. So basically, for the models, first off, we actually have several more that are based off. This is the base model that will just be painted over. This is kind of the utilitarian version. These involve abstract patterns, just kind of a general, kind of a chic look. That kind of just don't want to go too heavily on decoration, but still want some degree of personalization. Since it wouldn't really add too much to the cost for this, since you'd basically be painting over this one. But then there's other ones we have which are a bit more elaborate. They kind of go with other more traditional schemes or other, for example, we have kind of a more traditional wood variation, kind of a one that would be made more of wrought, that would kind of evoke structures made of wrought iron, or under those full kind of rusted decoration looking things. And then we have some other a little more outlandish ones, such as ones based on it wouldn't actually be gold, mostly because that would just back up the price. And then we have one based off a classical ornament, lawn So basically we're trying to just give people a lot of options, and features.
If that didn't convince you yet, this will probably convince you to buy one of those. It is low cost, super low cost, and it won't be too much change to your existing plumbing. And on top of that, it's all self-sufficient, so you don't have to do too much extra work onto it. Just plug it in and it's ready. And so on top of that, it can the environment or not. It's just whatever you guys want. And it's also perfect because you can sell them to the plumbing companies, and then they can charge you and have a service and be able to integrate that into their company. So.
Yeah, so more into the specifics and the feasibility of this. To make the water potable, we would utilize that UV filter. These are already readily available. This model here costs about $800, and it gets rid of about 99% of stuff. It's actually better than chlorine filtration. It's chemical free, it's taste and odor free, it's compact and easy to maintain, and some more specifics. It has a really low power, 70 watts, and it can do up to 30 gallons a minute, filter up to 30 gallons a minute. And the lifespan of the UV lamp is 9,000 hours, so that's, if it were to run continuously, that's more than a year's worth of filtration, which it will not. And a lot of these come paired with actual physical filters. This one comes with a 0.5 micron filter to get rid of different particulates and chlorine, and they're innovated to get rid of odors, make it not smell bad if it's rainwater. To power this, we would utilize, like we said, solar energy. Square meter solar panel could produce about 100 watts per hour, which would be more than enough to power this unit. And if we wanted to, we could actually include a cell to collect that energy and store it for later use if you're not going to be filtering all at once, obviously, because it doesn't rain continuously. And like we showed already, we'd like to make a storage tank something that can either replace the existing downspout and blend into, or something possibly that could look like part of the house, or it could look like a yard gnome if you want. And the assumption here where we said, like, we're not really going to be storing too much water because we're just going to add it to the line as we filter it and collect it. So we don't really need too much storage. So for our calculations to make this feasible, we did a 12-foot by 1.5-foot diameter tank, and that can hold 150 gallons of water. And so the actual engineering, which kind of came up with this idea, he's another engineer that's in our group. he's not here tonight, so he's not here with a presentation. He made a nice video for us that we'll show here in a second. But this is a passive valve Venturi valve system utilizing the Venturi effect. Basically, we have the main water line coming into the house, like 60 or 80 psi. It's a really high pressure system, and then we have a tank here that just has rainwater sitting in it at atmospheric pressure. It's going to be really hard to actually combine that. So with this Venturi system, this series of constrictions, basically you can combine small amounts of water from the at atmospheric pressure, because this is going to create the suction effect, as you'll see here in a second. So the takeaway is we can combine a low pressure system with a high pressure system without compromising the pressure of the main water line.
Without significant cost.
Yeah, without a pump. We don't have to have a pump to actually power this, which would be nice. So, yeah, we looked, and with all the kind of assumptions we've laid out so far, we could combine up to 20 to 25 gallons from the rainwater collection system per minute into the main line. That could potentially be a 30 to 40% water supplement if you could collect 3,500 gallons a month.
So with that being said, Herman's not here today, but he did leave us with a video demonstration.
Yeah. So anyway, this would be our tank, I guess, with water pump. And he has it hooked up to a garden hose just coming tap right now.
And there's the pressure.
And there you go. So it actually works. Yeah, we bought that fitting online for like $6. It's a PVC Venturi fitting, so that, again, it's stuff that's already out there. And yet, this is some more options we talked about after we gave this presentation last Tuesday. We kind of marinate on it a little bit more to combine different downspouts. We possibly could bury the tank to eliminate the yard gnome, but that's something that would obviously be way more invasive and cost more to install and materials and stuff. But that you could still do the same thing with a buried tank if you wanted to go that route. So.
Thank you for the presentation.
I just want to say, if there's a proof of concept for this mixing of our different departments, it lies in the fact that we just guard gnome and Venturi valve in the same sentence. So
Alrighty, hi guys. So our group created the rain reclamation system because we love water.
I'm Ariane, I'm an industrial engineer.
I'm Jake Schultz, I'm from graphic design.
I'm Nicole, I'm an interior design major.
I'm Claire Reynolds, I'm a graphic design major.
I'm Sarah Stasiak, I'm a interior design arts major.
And this is
I'm Thomas, and I'm the figure drawer in our.
So why rainwater? This whole idea really was really cool that Ty let us work on problems like this, because as you mentioned, it's not really something that there's a ton out there on the market for that's cool and makes people want to buy these things. So, but rainwater's free, so that's pretty awesome. It rains again, so 45 inches per year in Louisville, and on a 100 square foot roof that can catch per rain maybe 220 gallons of rain during like a rain session, or about 28,000 gallons of water a year. A family of 4 flushes flushes the toilet an average of 20 times a day. If each flush is about 1.6 gallons, then that's about 32 gallons a day, or 12,000 gallons per year.
Okay, so our target market for the system that we created is the baby boomers and Generation X, because who like the environment, because they are the ones that grown-up, and the baby boomers definitely do care about the environment, and as well as genetics, but they have disposable income, and they're the early adopters, and they're more likely to get our system more, especially more than millennials who right now don't have that disposable. And it's for families for 2 or more, and it's made to be installed in an existing or new structure. So our system is based on collecting water from the rooftop and pumping it to storage tanks, and then sending it to be used in multiple different locations in your toilet and the outdoor yards. That can also serve as an overflow.
Okay, so we started off with our concept design stage, and we came up with a few different things. We came up with an outdoor storage tank ideas. So we have a lot of different things, so like statues and expandable tanks. So when the white rain comes in, it would expand with the amount of water in it. And then we also have one of our first ideas for an in-home, an existing structure, was the tanks would be up in the attic, and then there would be tanks behind the walls of the and then we have yeah. Oh, and then we had another concept that was, I don't believe it's pictured in here, but it's for a new structure, and it funneled all the water to the center of the home. The roof was, instead of like normal roofs, it was inverse, I guess you could say, and it funneled all the water to the center of the home and then dispersed to the outside. And then we have a few more concepts. These are more statues and pergolas that the water can be held in. And then these were our initial concepts of our tanks. So as you can see from that 3D model, we wanted to use the dead space in the attics for our tanks, and then would be supported by the outside walls of the house. And then from here you can see where the tanks are and how they connect to the toilets, the bathrooms, and then the overflow water, if you had some, could also be funneled out to the outdoor storage tank if you had extra.
So this is our final concept, where the water runs through the home like veins in a leaf. Storage compartments for each of the toilets, and they're easily accessible from just standing inside the bathroom. The compartment would be hidden behind a false wall, and when the internal tanks are full, we can pump the overflow into an outdoor tank or a yard arc, like this lovely that Thomas has made, and pump it back into the internal system if needed. The system will be composed of 7 parts. The large eye filter on the gutter to eliminate things like bugs and leaks, which would be like right around there, kind of like under the gutter. The water pump to pump it into the tanks or into the outdoor tank / yard. Storage tanks, which are up in the attic. The PVC pipe running from the tanks connecting to the toilets. The disposable water filter inside the wall, which is responsible for the smaller particles, which would be replaced about every 3 months. The tank gauge level with the water supply control, and then additional outdoor storage. We want to be able to give our users the option to take the water where they want it.
All right, so with our system, you could save between 200 and 500 in water and sewage each year. And this reduces, is that?
Yeah, 3
year? Okay, sorry. This reduces the water runoff, so less is going into our systems, which
which overall helps the environment because we're not collecting the oils from our cars or all the pesticides that we use in our farms. It's simple because it blends right into the existing home. We're not really adding any major structures. It would just be some minor piping and then the tanks that would go up in the attic. It's also easy to manage and maintain because we are right in the bathroom with that false wall. It's fun, personalizable, and unique to the yard. Each option is going to be able to go with a house, or you can choose something very fun, as Thomas will show us in a few minutes. So this is what it would look like inside of the wall if the studs were exposed. It's just going to be a simple tank that has the from the attic, and then once you put the drywall back in the room, you've just got a control panel here. And that's going to show you how much water you have left in the tank, so you can switch it over to a water reserve if you have a drought.
So to kind of talk about the tanks up in the attic, these were made to be no more than 4 square feet, just in order to be under the bearing capacity of the joists of the home. So they're meant to fit in the corners of the attic in that corner space. So we have 2 options, either the triangular version or rectangular. Each single unit here holds 120 gallons. So depending on where you live, how much rainwater you're getting, where you are in the country or in the world, you might need only 1 tank, you might want 6 tanks, depending on how much water you're using. And again, this water can be stored there, but it can also, so you can go to supply your toilets. If you don't have that very many people in your home, then as many, and you might want to put more of that water outside.
Okay, so more specifically about the toilets, these are just different views of them and how it would interact with the tank that is within the wall. So in this illustration, you can see that this would be the outside wall or drywall in between rooms. And then you have in between the studs. In between studs, you have your tank, which would sit above the toilet, so it would be able to use gravity to come into the tank and flush your toilet. And then you could also do something really fun to continue with saving the environment of having this really water plant in your bathroom, so it makes your bathroom prettier, and it also can help oxygenate your home.
Yeah, and this is a closer view of that gauge that's on the wall. It's pretty, I mean, we planned it on being touchscreen, so that way it's just basically showing you how much water tanks at the time. And so if it's getting low, you can switch over to city water, so that way obviously you still have water in your toilets and you can flush your toilets. It's kind of important. But that's basically all this is going to be doing for you. Yeah.
I guess it's my turn. Generally, these rain barrels for outdoors, we've learned how to clean, and so we've come up with some ideas. And that was my job to, when this overflows, when it's raining, it goes into another thing. We started out with your ideas with mushrooms and plants to collect the water, to use for the garden, use for washing the car, things outside when in the grass. And this also is a reserve, so that a small line could pump this and refill these top tanks that are feeding the toilets. And that's cuts out a lot of water use. And those are some other ideas that by the way, we also came up with these large printers that can print like billboards and make, what's it called, waterproof tarpaulin material that could be sewn together, zipped up, and changed to a different design that's wrapping around these
I think Thomas had about 100 different ideas. These are just a handful of someone wants. But he has many ideas. So, but yeah, really just mainly focusing on either doing some kind of unique, very unique yard art that Thomas would design, or having a customizable
standard size.
Yeah, a standard size tank system, logo, or just you could blend it into them if you wanted. So
They're held up in this kind of on blades so that pressure can go out to the different.
yeah, the giraffe was brilliant because, like you said, the giraffe's body is lifted up. So that's one of the things that's hard about having an outdoor water holding system is that there's no gravity, so you don't get any water pressure when you want to use it. So the giraffe is cool because it holds it up and the water can flow down.
An old 12-volt pump in a small quarter-inch line, come up and take its time going through the zone. They get low.
So we wanted to integrate your rainwater into your home daily lives, lowering your water bill and making recycling and conservation instead of a chore. Thank you.
So we are Rain Harvest. My name is Winston Rao. I'm a master's bioengineering student.
Adam Dickel, graphic design major.
I'm Amber Fights. I'm also a graphic design major.
I'm Maddie Smith, art and communications.
My name is Ran Li. I come from China. My major is industrial design. My master's degree is art design.
All right. To our goals, again, we are trying to think of design a system that can be efficient to harvest rainwater for residential settings, for homes within the local area. We're also, another additional part of what our goal is, we're also trying to think of how to promote for people to start thinking about how to save and the importance of water and how to conserve water.
So as you've seen before, so for Louisville, there's about 45 inches in average rainfall per year. And if you were to use the runoff from the driveway and the roof of the house to collect that water, you have the potential of collecting 50,000 gallons of water per year. And to look at a family of four's water usage, we ended up using a conservative estimate of 77,000 gallons per month. Approximately $100. With this system, you could approximately save $50 per month, and with the water usage consciousness that we're talking about in the education, you could save even more.
Yeah, so the solution is what we want to come up with something that's completely customizable, whether you have an existing home or it's a new build, and something that is user-friendly, easy to use, and something that people will actually want to check, and that sends them updates for actually how much money they are saving and how much water they're saving as well. So we will be collecting rain in 3 different ways. The 2 major ones are the roof and the driveway. So all the rainwater that drains from the roof into the gutters will be pulled down by gravity into the tank in the basement. And also the driveway, if there's an existing home, we could install this, or if it's a new build, we would install it too. Have the rain funnel down into these grates at the bottom of the driveway, and then those would be pumped back up into the tank underneath the basement. And then the third way, it's not really as much as are used for collecting. It's more of like decoration, and this is like these little topiary trees, big topiary trees. So the bottom half would be like on, and the top half would be mesh. So it still could collect water, but just not as much as it can be used to line the driveways, sidewalks, or backyard, just more for decoration.
So once we collect it, we're going to be storing the water in tanks in the basement. And the reason they're going to be, the basement or crawl space, depending on what type of house you have, and this helps regulate the temperature so that you don't have to worry about the coldness or the heat affecting the water, and it helps keep that tank out of sight and keeps the aesthetics of the house. We're going to offer a custom tank design, so depending on what type of house you have, whether it's a basement or crawl space or how much water you actually want to be able to store, we're going to use a fiberglass construction that on site. As you can see in this picture here, you can frame up any type of size tank that you need. You can lay down fiberglass sheets and you can pour resin on that and it'll harden into a watertight tank. And also for retrofit for houses that are already there and we can't do all this construction on site, we'll have prefabricated sizes that you can use. These are just a quick mock-up of some tank designs. So this one would be for a crawl space in a house that doesn't have a basement. You can see how slim it is, it'll fit under there. And this would come from the driveway and the gutter collection, go in here and then be into throughout your house. And this is just a mock-up of a taller, slimmer design for the basement, so you can put it up against and still have room in the basement. Just a few other notes about the rest of the system. We'll offer pre-filtration and post-filtration. What I mean by that is the pre-filtration is going to divert some debris and particles, and depending on whether the user wants to just use gray water for watering the yard or just flushing toilets, or if they want to actually be able to use it for showers or drinking, we'll offer post-filtration and help purify the water. All of our components, so this is different, we'll have different valves and sensors. This is a solenoid on and off switch to be able to turn the main line off and turn your tank supply on. This is a pressure sensor and a water level sensor. All these are going to be electronically controlled by one central user system that we're going to talk about next.
This is where rain harvest is different. We're living in digital lives and our mobile devices are on us all the time. So what better way to integrate something so new and unfamiliar to the majority of the public than to make it right in your hands, right? So we've come up with a personalized application that would be free to anybody that has this system, and we're able to connect with you on a personal level in your hand every single day. So we're going to what the app actually looks like and what it does.
Yeah, we designed this image. That means the customer can use this app to quickly how many water has used. We focused on 4 locations. They are the bathroom, the kitchen, the yard, and the laundry. So that's very cool.
And it's also very customizable, so whenever you're setting up your account on the app, you'll have your family, you'll have the number of rooms, you'll be able to see the different areas of the room where the water is coming from. With this page, you can add your usage goals, maybe for like a monthly usage goal, and you can check that. And then, so yeah, that's just the basic account page, and then we'll show you the other ones.
So we have a whole slew of features that you can use with this app. One being the home screen, which is where you can see your current tank level, how much water you have, how much estimated rainfall you'll have that day, so you can expect how much you're going to collect. And then also, as we move on, during the iPad screen, the home screen, what are your goals for collecting a day once using? Now, going on to usage though, as you can add rooms as you go on, as you keep using this, because we're expecting you to be slow adopters at first, and that's okay, because people are not very familiar with it. So we're going to make it as easy as possible. We figured, well, how do people usually record their usage with anything? And if you kind of think of the health apps that people have every day, like the health app on an iPhone, it's really easy to read. So we are modeling a lot of it after that and using the same typography that people use on the operating system of their phone every day. And of course, this would also be customized to the devices versus iOS and Android devices. And to go on, we kind of start talking about what more can we do besides recording what you do. And so we were thinking about the Discover screen, which is extending from your own home to worldwide. And hopefully we compile articles on water and a bunch of social issues that you can learn more about and interact with as well. So that's pretty much the gist of that.
So our system offers two main things. We can fully customize it to user needs. So whether it's a retrofit to a house there, or you're building a new house, and depending on what the user wants, if they want filtration or they want this amount of water to be supplemented with what they're already using, we'll be able to offer it to them. And our big selling point is our smart integrated control system that not only controls valves and everything, but it will help make the user environmentally conscious and more aware of their water usage. So, thank you for listening.
So, when I was talking about economic development, does anyone here want to invest? If you can even blend a couple of these ideas together and really start something. This is where businesses start. It took some of you, we had 4-week, 5-week. This is serious. I was really impressed with this. I had not seen any of this presentation. I was all busy. Another thing, my wife went to Johns Hopkins State International, and it rained yesterday, and we have a 5-month-old. And she says, "Oh, Walt, we need to boil the water just in case." But if we had a system, then we wouldn't have to be boiling water to make formula for people, little girl. So she would be at ease. She's just afraid of a little bit of water. She's not from this place. This is the co-creation, and I'd like to have, we talked to 2 engineers and 2 designers to come up and speak about their experiences doing this. And so if all would 2 of you come up, engineers first, maybe. All of you, come on down. And we have not brought to them to say anything in particular. This is really feedback to us and to everyone else here. And if another designer or engineer has something else to say, please do add. So what was your experience?
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, since you just saw like all the graphics, like for all the apps and stuff like that, being able to work with a designer, because I'm an engineer, so being able to work with a designer and being able to visually like communicate that with people is awesome. So yeah, and Adam did an awesome job with the logo and everything, and that's something as an engineer you just don't get exposed to that often. So.
I didn't really know what to expect when I came into this class, but I'm so glad that I took it. Mostly because I've learned skills that I never thought that I would have learned in college, and that's including interpersonal skills. Not taking a communication class. That's actually students that were hoping people would come into the laundromat. That was my group. So we went in and we were like, "Hey, do you mind if I ask you for an interview? Is that okay? Can I record you?" And people are usually really friendly if you're just completely honest with them. And it was really fun because our project with Winston and Adam and Rand and Maddie, we finally came up with like our own kind of business model. And granted, this is not an entrepreneurship class, but that makes me want to move on to something else because, and as I've been talking to Aaron too, and all these opportunities with University Innovation Fellows and how it ties into industrial design, graphic design, entrepreneurship, business, all these things, you realize this is bigger than a class in college. This is, you can do bigger things, and you can change the world, whether you're a designer or an engineer or someone that's just really good at communicating ideas. And that is completely different from. And, you know, I would probably take this class again if I could. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah.
So we need more classes like that.
I know! Yeah, no, actually, that's what I really want to do, so.
Yeah, so I think the main reason why I took this class was because I was going to get to work with people that were different from me. And I was like, oh, there's mostly art students? Cool. I can't wait to just pop out of my little bubble. And that's really what pulled me into the class. Not so much like I didn't really know what industrial design really technically was. But, you know, I've been here at Speed School for 5 years now, and I've never had a class like this. And that's a shame. Like, I mean, I'm glad that I got it now, but this needs to be something that students can have access to. And in my mind, I hope that classes like this could happen not just with engineers and art students, but it can be bigger than that as well. So yeah, again, this class taught me things that I'm going to be able to take with me when I leave here in a couple weeks, and things that I haven't learned before. I've been exposed to so many things. I think having 3 different kind of teachers come in for us was really good too, to see, you know, what are these professionals' perspectives on this, and what are their strengths, and how are they successful. I enjoyed that a lot, learning from HGB3, and I really thank you guys for taking your time to come work with us. It meant a lot, I think, to a lot of us, and this kind of class was really fun for us, you know, getting to work with friends, and this kind of style of class, I think, is where things are going, and hopefully we can continue that. So.
I was a little bit, like Aaron was excited to work with the designers. I really wasn't excited. I was kind of nervous about working with engineers. I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, like, hang, I'm not that smart, I don't think I can. But it's really not about I mean, you realize you have something valuable, everybody has something valuable that they can offer, so bringing those together and you realizing like, oh, well, I have this great idea that looks cool, but I don't know how to like actually make it work, and then they can kind of like, oh, well, if you do this, then we can make that work, and we can still make it look somewhat interesting. And I think the other big thing is Leslie and Steve are always about design, or the design process. And it was interesting to see how another part of design, you can see how that the process is incorporated, especially in industrial design, working a lot with like the attendee and interviewing with them and seeing and just learning how to interact with the people that you're actually creating a product. So that was something that was interesting, and I can translate that back into the design process, or for graphic design at least, and seeing how I can actually go out, and if I'm going to design an app for somebody, I need to make sure that I get their feedback and see what they have to say. So I think that was the biggest takeaway for me, is just the whole seeing how the design process is used in different disciplines.
Yeah, we're actually doing this here. Like, we're doing something. We're given these big ambiguous problems and put together with people that are different from us, and magic has happened.
Another thing is that the artists usually has works by themselves. That's one thing. And this class let us work with the engineers and different people as a group to make something. And when I did that, I realized that, well, Sarah did a drawing of like something that bounced back and forth, and it gave me ideas to take it further. And that was kind of ridiculous the way it worked. It just kept going because of interest.
Okay, we've got a guest here from GE, the industrial design department and program, and tire department. If you would just sort of wrap up from your perspective,
Sure.
why industrial design in Kentucky, why?
Sure. I think the comments that you heard from the students really summarize the future. GE Appliances has been in the Louisville community since 1951. Broke ground in 1951, we built our first appliance in 1953. We've been a part of the community for 60 years. plan to be there for another 60 years, be here for another 60 years. How are we going to do it? What you just witnessed tonight. The collaboration of the humanities, art, design, technology. That's how we're going to survive. I think that's how the community's going to survive. And I think Walter summed it up nicely. So what you just saw in the past 15 weeks is really where the world is going. I do a lot of traveling. I was at the University of Cincinnati yesterday. I was at UofL a few months ago. And you guys are making notes. I mean, it's starting to rattle a few cages in the academic community, what you're doing here. So keep it up. Dean Leonard, I hope you recorded everything those students said, because if you don't have a justification for making this go forward, I don't know what will work, because it is just so phenomenal. I mean, 15 weeks, what you guys have done is fantastic. So keep it up. Love to see what you're doing. Take advantage of First Bill as well while you're here on campus. We can see the innovations bleed into our business as well. So thanks, and keep going. Thank you.
This was, I just want to, don't know me, I'm from MSD. I graduated from speed school probably, I guess, 2 years ago. And so I'm a water quality guy. And so this is pretty, kind of hit close to home for me. And I'd like to say that it's so cool to see like two different groups of people coming together and working to solve a problem. It's a real quick story. You know, where I work, the big thing and kind of this big national trend is talking about the value of water and what that means to people in the United States and Louisville, but then also outside. And when I was in my last year of grad school, which went a little bit longer than it should by a semester, but my last semester of grad school, I had a chance to go to the Philippines and teach high school students in rural Philippines about water quality. And it was, we went with this really broad group of people. I mean, there were education majors, there were dentists, there were, I think there were some art folks too. But remember, it kind of was like this intersection where it made me realize like why what I did mattered. And so what we did is, you go to this rural area and they don't have running water, and so what the kids do is they drink soda all day long. If they do drink water, they get it from a hand pump. And so I was like, wow, if these kids have water, this problem could be avoided. So then one day we did a dental clinic, and so I learned, a dentist taught me how to pull teeth. And so I got to pull, and I was like, this thing that I've committed my career to, clean water, is could have prevented this, but now someone else has taught me something that they know, and I've helped someone. And so it was like you all have done. I think you've worked together to create a better solution to help people out, and I think that's really what successful is about. It's about helping people, and working together is the best way to do that. So I just want to say I thought all the presentations were really fantastic. You all did a great job. So I was really impressed. So that's all I have.
So this is my second year at the university, and I had only been here a few weeks when Dean Pinto, well, not Dean Pinto alone, but the governor and the president and the mayor, and they said we're going to all meet on this road, and I had been wondering what the hell that road went to. But so we went all up there and cut the ribbon, and Dean Pinto was telling about all that's going to happen with this park, and I thought, arts and sciences needs to be part of this. And part of his presentation was about manufacturing, which very little about, and the big changes that are happening in manufacturing, where start to finish, patents are going to go away, it's going to be so fast, things are going to change, and we have to be ready to market almost as soon as So I knew industrial design, we just needed to begin to make that happen. I come from Carbondale where we had a pretty big industrial design where I learned about that. I'm a criminologist, so I'm far away from this, I hope. But so we started talking about it with fine arts, and I would say initially fine art faculty weren't even that receptive because that was new to them, and they would be a little challenged in what would happen to the fine part of the art. But it didn't take them very long to come around, and so I was very happy when this came together as an idea, and took us a little while to get it implemented, I think, but the chair of fine arts, Kit, was very helpful, and I think it just came together beautifully, exactly how I would like to have seen it, but I mean better than I thought. That's why I sort of choked up about it. But I'm very happy. I know that Interim Dean Usher's not here, but we already have it planned for fall semester, and currently we plan to offer this class once a year, probably in the fall. And I see this is just the baby step as we begin to roll out whatever is going to happen over in that park. But I think it's going to be something that evolves through the creative process by all the different kinds of expertise that we bring to it. And I know it's going to be a wonderful experience for all kinds of students in the future. So thanks so much, everybody.